Welcome back to Pickle Tato. Today we got a great guest, Garrett Fahrmann. Say that right?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah. So I've been working on that, But hey, thanks for coming. Usually what I do is we'll just start off and just start talking, but you got such a great background. I wanted to go over that at the beginning, so I'll make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll go into some of the particulars about it. So from Latimer, Iowa, have a high school record as the most receiving yards in the season. Went to Concord College, where you led the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Conference in doubles in 1998, then coached there for 3 years.
Yep.
Let me know if I'm wrong in any of this. Went on to become stadium operations manager for the Carolina League Potomac Cannons.
Yep.
That's from 03 to 04. Got your master's degree, then went to Fresno Grizzlies as a senior vice president of operations for almost 6 years. That was around the 2004 to 10 era. Then you headed back to the East Coast to be a director of ops for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, which is a Phillies AAA affiliate.
Yep.
And that was for 4 years, from 2010 to 13-ish.
Yep.
Then went to Salt Rivers Field in Arizona for 1 season. And then took like a little break from baseball, did a real estate thing for a while. And then you got the call to be the GM and executive vice president for the Trash Pandas in 19. And then somewhere in all of that stuff that you were doing, I don't know at what point, but you entered a Tough Man contest.
Yeah.
And rumor you did pretty good. Maybe knock somebody out.
1-1, I guess.
Yeah. Hey.
And then hang them up.
Hey, you did it, man,
Yeah.
which is a lot more than, a lot of other people do. I wouldn't do it. I'd get my butt kicked. Married to Natalie with two daughters, Riley and Kinsley.
Yep.
So you must be pretty proud. Trash Pandas in first place right now. Got a Caden Dana named 2024 All-Stars Futures game, which is only the fifth guy in Pandas history to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's kick it off from the beginning, back in Iowa. So being sounds like a sports star there in Iowa, did pretty good.
Yeah, it was, definitely small schools.
Yeah.
Back then, my high school was not even there anymore.
Sure.
So, yeah, we, all the kids played all the sports year round. The football, baseball, basketball, and, just keep playing, and you need all the kids to participate in order to make teams, back then.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we did. But yeah, I always had a ball in my hand and always, throwing up rocks, hitting them with bats, or shooting on the side of the barn with a basketball, or whatever it is. Just,
You still got that high school record? Is it still there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Need to
I'm not
get
sure if
hold
it was.
of
Yeah.
How old are you?
49.
49. Yeah. So, to hold that record for that long, that'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it helps when the school's not there anymore. So that.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. How long ago did they close?
It's been a few years now. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years maybe that they closed down. I'm not sure.
That's still pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I guess that you're from being into sports. Went to college, played in college.
Yeah, played college baseball. Went to a junior college in Kansas for a couple of years, and that school is not there anymore either.
Okay.
Brown Mackey Junior College in Salina, Kansas, and then went and finished out my career at Concord in West Virginia.
Okay. And after that, I think didn't you coach there, right?
Yeah, coached. Was assistant coach for 3 years, and then I went to grad school.
Yeah.
And then tried to get a head coaching job somewhere. That a lot of them wanted master's degree preferred or required.
Sure.
To coach at smaller colleges. And so I went back there. I went to Slippery Rock University in Pennsylvania and got my master's degree there, and really kind of got introduced to the business side of baseball, which is minor league baseball.
Right.
Kind of, even though I played baseball my whole life, went to a few Iowa Cub games when I was growing up, but really never knew about the industry as it existed then. And so I got really into that, and so I actually coached for my internship. Coached in Waterloo, Iowa, for the Waterloo Bucks, which was a Northwoods League collegiate summer league team, and that was a great experience. Even helps me today, that experience. I think we played 64 games in 68 days. So it was like my only real taste of what minor league baseball was like, what the players and coaches go through on a much shorter scale, because we only played, we have 69 home games here. So there's 138 games they have to do that for. But that was it really gave me appreciation of what these guys go through.
So how was that transition for you, being a player and a coach, to actually going into the business side? Was that something that really intrigued you that you wanted to do, or was that something like, oh, let me see what this is like, and then once you did it, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do for us?
Yeah, once I first got my first job at Potomac for the Cannons, another one that's not there anymore.
Right.
Everything's fallen off. I didn't realize that now that I'm saying this out loud. But so they're not there anymore. But they were the single A affiliate for the Reds. But yeah, I was kind of their groundskeeper and their stadium operations guy there for the one season I was there. But what a great experience that was, and have still keep in touch with some of the folks that I worked with then. But just an amazing experience, amazing I guess front office staff, and a lot of memories of that 1 year that I spent in single A.
So going to Fresno, that was probably your longest term of employment as far as being in operations kind of. So how was that like? I guess that's where you really cut your teeth in, probably.
Sure. Yeah. In Potomac, we went to the winter meetings. Every year there's a winter meetings, and it was in New Orleans, and end up meeting up with a bunch of guys, or get introduced to a bunch of the folks that worked that just started in Fresno, but a lot of them had worked in Potomac a few years before. Yeah. And so we were just, we hit it off. We, were just talking about what it's like in Potomac, and then all of a sudden they shot me an email, which this is 03, 04 time frame. And in Potomac, we had one computer. AOL computer.
So everybody saw your
well, you just had to log in. I don't remember what it was anymore, but I never saw their email. And so they just figured I wasn't interested. And then, I don't know, I got a call or something like that and said, hey, man, you interested in this? I was like, yeah, I'd be interested in moving to, California. Never been to California, I don't think, in my life at that point. And, to me, Fresno doesn't matter. It's probably all beaches and stuff like that, right? Well, no, not so much in Fresno. But moved cross country right before the 2004 season, and huge facility, brand new, 3 years old, I think at the time, an amazing facility. But yeah, I definitely cut my teeth there. I think I was there 6 seasons, and again, lifelong friends. Keep in touch with a lot of them. But yeah, what an amazing experience Fresno was. Loved it when I lived there. It's a different city than it is, than it is, Huntsville.
Yep.
But yeah.
So I would imagine, just knowing a little bit of your background, that's probably where you met your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Met my wife there. Bought a house, got married, and then got the call of from Lehigh Valley. And Lehigh Valley happened to have someone that I worked with in Fresno. Started that team over there in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Okay. And so got a call and interviewed.
Also, she's not from California?
Yeah, my wife is.
Okay.
My wife is from California. But a former coworker.
Gotcha. Okay.
Moved to start the team out in Lehigh Valley.
Okay.
And they had a position open up with operations, and gave me a call and said, hey, would you be interested in this? I said, yeah, I like the Philly area. Yeah. Grew up an Eagle fan.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Growing up in Iowa.
I've heard about your secret cup that you
you
carry around.
Well, I don't know if it's secret. I carry it around.
Well, it's not secret anymore, but the whole Natty Light thing.
Well, that was a Eagles.
That's right.
An Eagles can cooler is what that was that I used to carry around Natural Light in. That was my budget beer.
Yeah. It's everybody's budget beer.
Yeah.
So with your wife, I mean, we've had lots of people on here who have jobs that have brought them all over the country in different places. And man, you have to have, I've said this many times on here, you have got to have a support system to be able to do that and keep your sanity.
Yep.
So I'm sure your wife's been a big inspiration and a big supporter, or she probably wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
How does that make you be able to do your job better, to have that kind of support system?
Oh, you definitely have to have it. Because if you don't, and that's what happens in this industry a lot of times, is like you work in the industry, and then people get married, and sometimes a lot of folks fall off. Yeah. It's like when it's a lot of hours. I always say we're not out there, digging ditches and making life or death decisions, but it is a lot of time, hard work. So it's been, you definitely need that support. Yeah. And she's been amazing. She's moved all over the country with me since we've met. She hadn't lived outside of California when before she met me. Yeah. So her family I'm sure was like, where are you taking my daughter next?
Sure. Yeah.
Which we had that a few times.
You're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. It was that kind of responsibility. Well, we'll get to that part with here at the Trash Pandas, but so there was there was a time period that you kind of like took a break from baseball. What made you have that decision? And did you just try something new, or?
Yeah. Once we moved from Fresno to Allentown, it's, we had 2 daughters, and, Riley was born in 2011. So, I'm trying to think now. They got, we're pregnant maybe, and we had Riley in January 2011. So my wife was pregnant through the whole first season.
Okay, gotcha.
There, and then we got pregnant again. And then my second daughter, Kinsley, she was born in March of 13, which was my last season in Lehigh Valley. And that one is like, I never got to see Kinsley in the daylight,
right?
So I'm always at the ballpark, and never really got to see him unless now they got the kids together and went to the ballpark, which she did a lot, because she worked full time as well. Kids growing up in daycare and all that stuff, and so it's like, oh gosh, is this really worth it? I have two daughters, and do I really want to start another season of not seeing my kids grow up? So I still wanted to be in baseball, so I left Lehigh Valley and went to Salt River Fields for a season, which was just a spring training season. I was there for a couple of months, and it just wasn't. I wanted to be. Yeah, it wasn't what I mean. It was a great staff. Again, someone that I used to work with in Fresno is still their director of tickets there, and just great staff, great environment, but it was so different than a minor league baseball season. The games are over, and it's like, it's not even dark yet. Like, now what? So it was a great experience. So I went there for just 1 year, Arizona for a year before I moved back to California, and actually got out of baseball altogether. Worked for a company called Scientific Drilling, which is oil and gas industry manufacturing company, which is the farthest away you can get from baseball.
Yeah, you're the operations manager. I think is that what your title was?
Yeah.
So operations for drilling coming from baseball.
Yeah.
How did that even happen?
Well, the way I kept kind of saying it was like, it's still facilities. It's facilities, whether they're manufacturing something or playing baseball. Gotcha. It's still a facility, and that was kind of my background. So I got the job there, and again, I was there for only 1 year. When I first started there in August of, I think it was 14. August of 14, they were setting revenue records, and oil prices were skyrocketing, and by January of 15, they started laying people off.
Wow,
it's very ebbs and flows up, and just what a crazy industry the oil and gas industry was, which I'd never been.
And unfortunately, it's tied into politics too.
Sure.
You never know how politics are going to go.
Yeah.
So
someone sneezes in North Korea, and all of a sudden, the world falls apart. Or whatever.
Right.
But so I was only there for a year, but it was a blessing for that year, because I did get to meet our director of facility maintenance here. I brought him over here when we moved here.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, I was there for exactly to the day, I believe, 1 year at Scientific Drilling, and that I'd never been laid off before, and didn't like that feeling. So I was like, all right, what can I do that you can't, unless I'm going to lay myself off? So that's when I got into the real estate industry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So there was a point that you got a call about the Trash Pandas at some point, and you had to have that conversation with your wife. How did that go?
Well, it was interesting, I guess. I lived in, I don't know if you're familiar with California. Go ahead.
Yeah, where was you at when you were in California?
Yeah, I was in California.
Okay.
Yeah, so Paso Robles area is where we were living, which is wine country there, in San Luis Obispo County.
Okay.
And my real estate office that I worked for was in Morro Bay, which is right on the coast, central coast of California, most beautiful place I've ever lived in or lived at. And it's just an amazing spot. But I remember getting the call from a gentleman by the name of Chuck Domino. He was the president of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs when I was there, and he consults for a lot of different teams.
Okay.
And he had called me a few times over the years about, hey, you want to get back in and stuff like that, and just never felt right. And then one day he calls me and goes, hey, I got this brand new team in Huntsville, Alabama area. And he was like, what do you think about moving out here?
What I'm sure you probably heard of Huntsville, but did you have any idea of the industry that was here?
No, I mean, when I was still in the game, it was the Huntsville Stars. Yeah.
Okay.
My last year in baseball was 14, and I believe the Stars was 13, 14, somewhere around there. So
gotcha.
It was hey, is it the Stars? And he goes, no, they left for Biloxi a few years back, and he goes, this is a brand new team. It's called the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and I go, in Alabama?
Yeah.
I'm looking out at Morro Rock, which is a volcanic plug out in the middle of the ocean, and it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, going, Alabama? I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get my wife to do that.
Right.
And he goes, you just got to give this place a shot. He goes, you got to look at it. It's not your stereotypical Alabama, is what he kept saying. So we flew out. I flew out here, got the job offer, and I had to go back home and, ask Natalie.
Yeah.
Don't tell her.
Am I allowed to do this?
Yeah. Well, because when we went to Allentown.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I could imagine you guys being settled in California. Probably her parents are there. I mean, that's where she lives.
Everybody's there, yeah.
And you're like, hey, can we leave again?
Yeah.
She's probably like, well, we're all. Yeah, I'm just imagining how that went.
Yeah, so it was, when we moved to Allentown, she went sight unseen.
Okay.
And I think it was the second or third day there, we got like 27 inches of snow.
Oh, wow.
So she was not going to trust me that this is a glorious place at all.
Right.
And I told, David Beer was the VP of operations here, local guy here. And he, I said, hey, David, you got to convince my wife.
Yeah.
We got to come back
you pull
out.
the red carpet when I come back here.
So we came out, and David Beer is an awesome guy. He's still a good friend to this day. But he showed me around where the schools were and where, the best, places to live, neighborhoods and stuff like that. So we got a real estate agent, and, she showed us around, and she basically, we all put an offer on a house. We were here for 48 hours and got the accepted offer. It's like, I guess we're moving.
Yeah.
And so we moved out here in June of 19.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So you've uprooted your family, getting back into the game, 2019, you're ready to go, and all of a sudden COVID hits.
Yeah.
I know you've probably talked about this about a million times, but how did you guys get through that as far as being, back in where you're a little bit profitable rather than just spending money and not making money?
Sure. Yeah. So, 2000, going into, the last season down in Mobile, we bought the ownership group bought the Mobile Bay Bears, and that's the team that was going to move up here in 2020. And, going through the whole construction process, we started hiring a lot of staff from out of the area. They had baseball experience, didn't have baseball experience. We had a lot of locals that perhaps quit their jobs to work for the Trash Pandas. Yeah. And we had to basically have a sit down when we heard our season was at least going to be delayed. And it's like, what do we do? What do we do? Do we send everybody home and, lay everybody off? We had that discussion. I was like, let's just go for it. And we went for it. Yeah. We had to do a lot of different, I think we maybe laid off a couple of folks or something like that. But for the most part, we kept everybody, and we just started doing non-baseball events. We had the fair here in, I can't remember what month it was, May of 2020, which was debatable whether that was a good idea or not. But it's, we still have that fair here, every year. And we started doing movie nights because all the movie theaters are closed, and we're outdoor, so we just started doing things, throwing stuff at the wall and see if it stuck. And
the movies thing still goes on. Yep. You still have Christmas,
the light show,
show here. I've been here several times, and I tell you what, I've had a great time every time I come here. And, I grew up in the Cincinnati area, and I'd go see the Reds and everything every once in a while. And it just, you don't really feel part of it. At least I didn't. Of course, I was a kid, but I was in baseball growing up as a kid, and I loved baseball. But when I came here, it was a lot better vibe than I ever remember Major League. So I had more fun here than I did the Major Leagues, to be honest with you. Which is kudos to you guys and your team that put on the events here. So you're executive vice president and general manager. What do those titles mean? And what are your duties that you have for those two titles? Obviously, they're two separate.
They're two separate titles, I guess. I'm not 100% sure if there's any added duties that came with them, but I wasn't named, GM until August of 19. So I was here for a couple months. Yeah. We took a big long trip. We went to 5 or 6 ballparks with the staff that was here. I think I'm the only one that's remaining from that trip. But yeah, I think that was, so it was a couple months before that, named the GM, and honestly, I don't remember when I was named the executive VP or which one came first, but there's a lot that went on between 2019, and obviously our opening day of 21.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the general duties, I guess, just overseeing all aspects of the operation.
Okay.
We do most things in-house. I mean, all of our food and beverage is in-house. We don't have a third-party vendor like a lot of teams do.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, we do all of our, security staff, usher staff, everything we do for the most part in-house. So it's just kind of overseeing that and making sure I'm touching every aspect of the business frequently, make sure that nothing's, going left or right. But so it's, but I have a great team of experts in their chosen, field, whether it's marketing or, F&B and tickets and merchandise and everything. So I got production, everything. So
how much interaction do you have with the team and the operations that goes on there?
Really, not a lot.
No.
We have a great relationship with the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Our farm director, Joey Probinski, is just an amazing guy to work with. He just kind of lets me know when things are, coming and going. But other than that, he just kind of gives me a heads up. And I mean, it's not an ask. It's just hey, this is what's happening. I don't get any say on who's here or who's pitching or who's in second base or anything like that, which is probably a good thing. But we have I got a great relationship with our manager, Andy Schatzley, who's been here for 3 out of the 4 years.
Okay.
And just we have a really good group of players, just great character kids that the Angels provide here, and have very little issues, if ever. I can't even think of any issues that we've had with the players, which is rare. Especially with my background with all AAA players in the past. I've worked in AAA for pretty much my whole career before here.
No.
But the AA levels, I love the AA level.
No.
So.
Unfortunately, the better they do, the less time they're going to be here.
Yeah, that's been the history of that.
That's the bad thing.
Yep.
But so Caden coming up like he is, and then of course the Pandas being in first place now. I mean, how much does the team change? Well, I guess it changes daily sometimes.
Yep.
Going from one year to the next. So, it's a great team. It's a great facility. It's a great addition to Huntsville. I mean, look around. Just since the ball field's been here, and just draw a circle around the ball field and then see what all's grown here. It's going to continue to do so. And I think, like I said, you guys done a great job. Is there anything you want to get out before we step off? Like any kind of promotion coming up, or?
Yeah, I think we got it. We're coming back home on Tuesday, and we got I think 36 games left, I think it is, or no, 30 games left. I think right at 30 games left. So we got but we got a good playoff push. I don't know if you were here in 2022 when we made the playoffs, but this atmosphere, the crowd, it's just an amazing experience. Yeah. Every game, I think, it's just it doesn't take much for this ballpark to get really, really loud, and the kids play really hard, and they gravitate and feed off of that energy that the crowd brings. So we always want home field advantage as much as we can, and but yeah, that's what kind of got going on.
Yeah, great, man. Well, we're gonna end it off here. If you don't have nothing else you want to bring up,
we're good.
All good. All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in, and get your tickets. Come out to the game. By the time this is aired, the one that he's talking about Tuesday, it's going to be past that. But it's very easy all you got to do is type in Trash Pandas in Google. It's going to pop up to where you get your tickets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.